Welcome to Chapter 8, Water and Minerals. Trace Minerals by Professor Tammy. Learning Objectives. Discuss the food sources and the functions of the trace minerals and the effects of their deficiencies and toxicities. Table 8-11. Trace minerals. These minerals are needed by the body in tiny amounts. Iodine, iron, zinc, selenium, fluoride, chromium, copper, manganese, and molybdenum. Iodine. Body's work is done by ionic form, the iodine. The roles is thyroxine, a thyroid hormone that contains iodine. The deficiency for iodine is goiter. So goiter is this. When you don't have enough iodine, your neck can kind of increase. Usually when it is small like this, almost hardly noticeable, if you give the person iodine, especially salt with iodine, it can decrease. But when it gets this big, it cannot decrease. You will need surgery to decrease it. Cretinism is a congenital iodine deficiency syndrome, previously known as cretinism. Is a condition of severely stunted physical and mental growth owing to untreated congenital deficiency of the thyroid hormone, which also is a congenital hypo, that means low, thyroidism, usually owing to mineral hypothyroidism. Toxicity, hypothyroidism, and you can read more about it here. And the food sources is salt, eggs, and dairy. Iron. Every living cell contains iron. There are two proteins, hemoglobin and myoglobin. Hemoglobin deals with the blood. Myoglobin, myo means muscles. So iron has roles. It carries the oxygen as part of hemoglobin in blood and myoglobin in muscles. I'll underline them so you can see it better. The roles also required for cellular energy metabolism. It makes new cells, amino acids, hormones, and neurotransmitters. Iron stores are called ferritin. So that's where iron is being stored. And this is how I remember it. Tin is where you store things. Well, you can use the same one if that helps you. As for iron stores, iron from red blood cells recycle and store in blood marrow. Special proteins transport and store iron. Hepicin is the key regulator of the entry of iron into the circulation in mammals. It regulates blood iron levels. Iron deficiency. Table 8-12. Promoters and inhibitors of iron absorption. These dietary factors increase iron absorption. Heme form of iron. Heme form iron is usually from animals, not from plants. No plants. Vitamin C helps absorb iron. Meat, fish, poultry, MFP factor also helps because they're meat. They tend to have iron. These dietary factors hinder iron absorption. Non-heme form of iron, that is mostly from plants. Some meats also have it, but plants are known to have non-heme iron, and animals are known to have heme iron. Tea and coffee also decreases your iron absorption. Calcium and phosphorus as well, and phytates, tannin, and fiber. Tannins are found in tea and coffee. Iron deficiency anemia. There's signs of deficiency, which we'll talk about in a bit, and mental symptoms in adults, children, and also some. If you might have heard about pica, pica is when someone's eating a non-food source. When you're not eating the right food, you're going to have the deficiency in vitamins and also in minerals. Mental symptoms of anemia: apathy, listlessness, behavior disturbances, clumsiness, hyperactivity, irritability, lack of appetite, learning disorders like vocabulary or perceptions, low scores of latencies and associated reaction, lower IQ, reduced physical work capacity, repetitive hand and foot movements, and shortened attention span. Causes of iron deficiency in anemia: inadequate iron intake, that means you're not consuming enough iron-based foods. Blood loss, it could be because you got hurt, you got cut, or you might have your menstrual cycle that just keeps going. Groups most susceptible to deficiency are women in reproductive years, especially during the time the menstrual cycle is happening, and infants, toddlers, and adolescents, and obese people. So as far as infant, toddlers, and adolescents, sometimes they're growing so quickly that they might not have their body's iron catch up to their growth. So it's only temporary at that time, but it's still important to be aware of it. Those who are obese, and it doesn't have to be just those who are obese, it's those with not so healthy diets, because some people who are obese, they're very healthy. So I want to say more like those who do not have so much of a healthy diet, even though their BMI might be within normal range. It's based on what you eat. If you're eating all chips and you have the right amount of calories, it doesn't mean you're having the most healthy diet. Maybe you're not eating the right products, especially having iron-based foods. Too much iron overload is also not good. So deficiency here can cause anemia, weakness, fatigue, that means tired, headaches, impair mental and physical work performance, especially when you're slow, you're tired, more tired, impair immunity, pale skin, nail beds and mucous membranes, concave nails, chills, and pica. Toxicity: when you have too much iron, it's just as bad too. GI distress with chronic iron overload, infections, fatigue, joint pain, skin pigmentation, and iron damage. So let's look at these two pictures. This is normal red blood cell, and this is blood cells are not that red. That's when it is anemic. At least one of the different type of anemia there is. Zinc works with proteins in every organ. Groups at risk of deficiency are pregnant women, young children, the elderly, and the poor. So let's look at the snapshot of zinc. The chief functions are: activates many enzymes associated with hormones, synthesis of genetic material and proteins, transport vitamin A, taste perception, wound healing, reproduction. Deficiency: growth retardation, delayed sexual maturation, impaired immune function, hair loss, eye and skin lesion, loss of appetite. Toxicity: loss of appetite, impaired immunity, reduced copper and iron absorption, low HDL cholesterol, a risk factor for heart disease. Some good sources of zinc are oysters, beefsteak, yogurt, shrimp, enriched cereal, and pork. If you look at it, it's mostly animal-based product. They tend to have zinc. and also food that has been fortified with zinc. Selenium. Selenium is a trace mineral found in a few amino acids in the body. The function of selenium are antioxidant. It's part of the glutathione peroxidase enzyme system. It's also the production of threonine, a thyroid hormone. Relationship with chronic diseases such as cancer. Toxicity, we can get it from supplements. Sources are meat and shellfish. Rich sources include organ meat, pork, seafood, fish, and nuts. So this is Cushenbeck disease. What? You notice that they are holding their hands. They're saying that, oh, it hurts. So what if you consume too much selenium? Selenium toxicity is like brittle hair, nails, skin rashes can cause from supplements. So remember, toxicity a lot of times is from supplements. What if you don't consume enough selenium? Like the Cushenbeck disease, a form of heart disease, and the Cushenbeck disease is a type of arthritis. Like you said, they were holding their hands. They're showing that it hurts. Fluoride is not essential to life. They play a big role in the body. When you have a deficiency in fluoride, you can have dental decay. Your teeth can break down. As far as toxicity with fluoride is fluorosis. This is what happens to your teeth. It can soften your teeth, so it's just as bad. You want to have enough of it. You can find fluoride in toothpaste, mostly for adult toothpaste, but not for children toothpaste. Why? Because in case they swallow it, then it's bad for them. That's why you see toddler toothpaste has no fluoride. Let's look at the map here. So here it tells you like which community in the United States and which state have fluoride in their water. So it's really a city, township basis. So the ones that are in yellow, that means less than 50% of their population have fluoride in the water. The blue ones, between 50 to 75% of their population, it requires fluoride in the water. And then the red ones, that means that more than 75% have fluoride in the water. It's not a state mandate one. It is based on county, city. Chromium and copper. Chromium participates in carbohydrate and lipid metabolism. The best sources are unrefined foods. Copper helps form hemoglobin. Deficiencies are rare. So a note to everyone, all trace minerals are toxic in excess, and a lot of times you get toxicity through supplements when you have too much of it. Not saying that supplements are all bad, but only when you consume too much of it. See you soon, and remember to read the book.